probably we're more opportunistic than visionary. We have a concept, we get it going, and as we're going along, it's not exactly the way we thought of it in the beginning. It evolves. But I think because you're open and you have your antenna up and you're trying to look for ways to make kind of your journey even better, that you bring those things in, and then it expands your world, right?
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook. This is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing with Entrepreneur the Playbook, and I am so excited to have Jeff Webb, chairman and founder of Varsity Spirit. Now, if you don't know what Varsity Spirit is, he is the founder of competitive cheerleading. And the reason I had you on the show is I know why you're a billionaire. And I'd like...
Who said I was a billionaire? Not me.
Your company making billions with a B. I actually brought you on because I think you owe me some money. I have 3 teenage daughters who live, die, and eat cheerleading. And I'm an event person, Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, Masters, Kentucky Derby.
Right.
And I have been a student because you have to be there all weekend. And I have 4 children and a wife. These are not cheap weekends for me to fly to Florida from California and Texas and Vegas. They're fun.
Good.
But I used you as my learning ground for good business of events.
Oh, thank you.
I would walk. My wife is like, don't you, there's all these other kids doing it. I only cared about the 4 minutes my daughters were on. Otherwise, I was literally going around doing due diligence of how you created this unbelievable business.
Oh, thank you.
This is an entrepreneur show, and you are an extraordinary entrepreneur.
Thank you.
How did you every other league, I had the lacrosse people, rugby people, you have XFL, USFL, all these kind of niche sports, but none of them seem to really succeed or make money. What do you think the secret sauce is for you? How are you able to turn this into a $1 billion empire?
Well, I would like to tell you that I had this vision from the very beginning. This is what it would be.
You're an overnight success.
Right. Exactly the way we planned it. That's why we wrote it up, right?
Right.
But to be honest, when I graduated from college and went to work for a gentleman who had some cheerleading camps and so on, I decided that I would start my own company. The idea was
when you went to college, because this is an entrepreneur
University of Oklahoma.
Awesome.
Boomer Sooner.
I'll be down there soon. And Dave, not Stram, shoot, I can draw a blank, we'll get onto it, but my friend played for Oklahoma, and I've been down there recruiting for years. What'd you study?
Political science.
Okay, because
right. I was going to go to law school.
Good decision.
And the legal profession is much better without me. I can just tell you that.
I went to law school, and the legal profession is much better without me.
Well, so the idea for me was to take what was a kind of a traditional school leadership function and to modernize it, to add athleticism and entertainment. So literally the idea was not to create this different type of cheerleading or even the concept of competitive cheerleading. It was to just to make cheerleading more effective on a campus and to involve more people. And
so Spirit was a big emotional platform for you, right? You have Spirit sticks, I know.
Absolutely. And so it was really, and it's something that I believe in still today, and our entire company believes. We've built the company around the concept of school spirit, providing this unique connectivity of students to their school and their community. And we know when that happens and they get involved, the good things happen to them and to their school. So that's kind of how we started.
And their life. I wrote a book called Connected to Goodness, which is basically in spirit.
Right? Perfect.
But for life and business. So I'll have to give you one of those.
No, it's perfect.
So that's
so we started just doing training camps, really teaching people how to do these new skills, all the kind of things that you see, your daughters involved in, and we're the only ones that we developed those techniques to teach them. So we got those going, and then we didn't have enough money to expand nationally. We came up with the competition concept because we said, we know we've got a great thing here. People are calling us, but we can't expand nationally. And so, as an entrepreneur, when the wind's at your back, you run, right? Because it may not always be at your back, right?
Of course.
So we came up with the idea to create a competition for it to be a platform so that people get it televised, so that people can see what we're doing and pay us to come to them. We didn't really envision, God, I'm blowing my whole image here, I know.
No, it's good.
But we didn't really envision this kind of separate vertical of competitions, which it's become now. And then kind of the third part of that was we had to create equipment and apparel that matched the new style. It was athletic, and the people who were doing uniforms and things, there was, the old wool sweaters and the shoes with a heel on, none of that worked. So we got into kind of the major components of the business, really because we were driving this kind of belief in this new type of cheerleading. And the other things we were able to put together and be opportunistic.
You definitely are an evolutionary person, right? Everything evolves for you. In fact, you're still evolving. You're looking and seeing how the new trends in nutrition and athleticism and flexibility. I know you even have a new type of competition that you're leading the way as a chairman without having to do the day-to-day operations.
Right.
But where do you see cheerleading going? Because there's one aspect of it. Well, there's actually two aspects that I would like your inside scope on.
Okay.
And every sport has this, but it was very weird to see in cheerleading. Is you created competitions, but yet the girls, I've never seen a better platform to bring kids together. Like it really, I love the camaraderie. Like I missed playing college football, not because I was very good, it was because I missed the locker room.
Yeah.
And when I watched my daughters, and I spent all that money to watch them, they would charge me, and then I get there, they charge me again. I felt like, man, I was waiting for the lady at the bathroom. Like, well, congratulations, good to monetize it. But really, the camaraderie is so great, but the parents, it was awful for me that a few bad eggs, you would sit there and some parent would say, I have a 9-year-old that's a flyer, which means they're thrown up in the air. Probably the most dangerous position in sports, I call it, the flyer. And they would say, I hope she falls. Like right next to me.
No.
So how do you deal with those type of parents?
Unacceptable.
I know it is.
The good news is we don't see it very often, and we don't hear it. But it's you were in the audience, you heard it. It's absolutely unacceptable.
And there's a few bad eggs.
Few bad eggs.
And do you have
generally,
any
I think
recourse
most of the parents are like you. They look out and they're able to get beyond. Look, my kids played competitive soccer at a very high level.
Yeah.
We had a lot of those parents too.
Of course, right. And I do
they
little league.
Take my daughter
I do.
out, and she's on the way to the goal, and it's like, we got her, but we don't see it very often. And most parents, I think, look at this like, this is something my kids they want to be in. They get great things out of it to help for their own development. So I think they can kind of empathize and look at the other kids and, and feel the same way. That's what we hope anyway.
Now, have you ever thought of, because I thought, I'm a student of your business and a fan of your business.
Thank you.
I feel like the parents, and I was getting there, you have these few bad eggs, but I just felt like the parents, you could monetize even more because they have a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And I think the parents want to have different workshops available for them or something that they could do with their time to say, either for themselves, or two, educating them on how the scoring. Wait, it's very easy to go to a baseball game and tell someone
everybody
when
knows.
someone touches
Everybody
here,
knows, right?
Whether you know baseball or not. But I felt one of the things that was missing for me as a parent was I really didn't understand how they were scored, what that meant that they were in this place. And you want to, as much as you want your girls to have a connection, and you do a phenomenal job, I felt disconnected to my daughters because I faked it.
Yeah,
right.
You couldn't tell, was this good or bad, or what does that mean compared
to where
to
they were ranked, and wanted to be excited for them that they still had a chance because the next day was weighted more. And is there a way that you could do stuff like that?
Well, it's a great idea. The one thing about the scoring is, it's when you've got these aesthetic sports, we call them, where,
gymnastics.
Right. Gymnastics, synchronized swimming, all these kinds of skating, is that nobody really, when you watch those sports, say you watch gymnastics in the Olympics, you don't really get, where did the score come from? How'd they get a deduction?
Right, no.
And the announcers do a pretty good job of explaining it, but you're just looking at one person. So in cheerleading now, you may have 30 people out there.
I know.
And so you're evaluating all those moves and whether they make it all the way around on a twist or all those kinds of things for 30 people. It's complicated. We're always, in our business or in our market, we're always in search of the perfect score sheet.
Yeah,
everybody goes, yes, this person.
Every sport would be.
Sometimes we go, you know what, maybe we just give them a 1 to 10 because people are not going to be happy no matter what. But it is complicated, but it's really a good idea. I think the more that we can bring the parents along to help them understand it, first of all, it gives them something to relate to with their kids. It's a great idea. I hope you're not going to charge me for that
No,
when we
no,
do that.
no, it's all free. Just take a refund. No, that'd be really tight.
A
No.
little license, yeah.
No, and then I love how you award people, right? Which
Yep.
is, in a business, I've stolen that from you, so I owe you a licensing fee. But I think it's really important to, at your event, it's like a part of the event, even for the participants, the parents, everybody comes into a whole separate area.
That's right.
You know, and you have this really cool award system where the team really gets to celebrate the other teams and their own teams.
That's right.
And you know, and I'm amazed because you have to sometimes stay a long time.
Yes.
All the girls stay,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
parents stay, and we change flights because we know the awards.
It's going to be going late.
Yeah, but it's that important to them, which to me is why you can, you know, what I call emotionally attach through the spirit and then monetize it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we think that the awards ceremony is very important because, you know, again, these are kids. They work really hard. It's important for them to have that chance to feel good about what they've done, even if they don't win. You know, if they place, if they're whatever, it's a time for us to kind of, you know, let them know that they're appreciated. That's the idea.
The other branding genius that you have is you have world championships and national championships.
Yes.
A lot of them.
Yes.
Right? I have a closet full of national and world champions.
Yeah. Well,
And it's so cool because I wish as like a male athlete, I could have listed on my resume. My daughter got a full scholarship to college, academic.
Yeah.
But she's like, Dad, how do I list out every championship that I've won? And I would just say 10 times national championship.
Yeah.
But it looks so great.
Well, you know, it's funny because cheerleading just grew up differently than these other sports, and when we got into what's called all-star, it's really club cheerleading.
Yeah.
You know, we have school cheerleading's traditional, and they compete as well.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much because they also do all the leadership things. Then the club aspect of it, that's the way people kind of understand it, like travel baseball or whatever. With all-star, it's a different concept.
Yeah.
And we try, you know, again, we think they're all important, and we think they can complement each other. But the competitive part of it in All Star is it's important.
And then you have a trade show aspect to it, and you have merged with a ring company.
Yes, we have. Well, the idea there was to take Varsity Spirit merged with Herc Jones, which is this is 2011, which is a graduation company, and then we acquired BSN Sports, and BSN's president Anna Blumenfeld is now the CEO of Varsity Brands, and the idea there, the concept I had there was for us to take achievement and spirit and sport, come together and become an extracurricular partner to the schools, so that we not only sell product, we actually use the entree with the cheerleading and with graduation to go in and rebrand a school, to help them redefine their mission, to modernize so that more kids are involved. And that was the concept that we did there. And it's really just in its infancy. The other thing you asked about, where do you see it going?
Yeah.
So cheerleading now has become a global phenomenon. When most people in this country look at it as kind of this Americana sort of thing, which it is, right? But with television and the internet and people all over the world seeing it, the interest is exploding. In fact, to really help develop cheerleading around the world, we found it necessary to create an international federation and apply it to the IOC, because in all these other countries, as you know, their sports are done differently. You know, here in this country, if we want to create a sport or we want to do something different, we've got in our neighborhood, or we'll make a league and we'll make it happen, right?
Yeah.
In these other countries, a lot of it because they don't have the disposable income, they're dependent on their governments. The sport has to be recognized and funded for equipment and coaching and venues and things like that. So we found out that's what we were going to have to do. And we created this international federation, learned all about kind of the world of international sports politics, which is a totally different world. But, and then we had to have a world championship. So we actually, we did all this. In fact, 2 years ago, we got recognized by the International Olympic Committee. And the world championship we have now for the International Cheer Union, there are 70 countries that participate. It's also in Orlando. But we have people from the IOC there, and they have said, like, this is already one of the best world championships in all of sport.
Yeah, and I've represented with Leigh, USA Rugby, USA Soccer, USA Baseball. So if we want to make it an Olympic sport, as we just got USA Rugby
Yep.
involved, which was really sad for me because they took out USA Baseball and USA Softball, which I thought was a crime to take out softball.
Yep.
Baseball I understand, but softball, that was a crime.
It's a different world.
Talking about content.
And,
Because you created a platform where you're on ESPN, but what was amazing was you were one of the first sports that maybe it was a forced evolution, but I could watch streaming online, and you monetized it.
Yeah.
But it was so nice because as I had my youngest son, and sometimes I couldn't travel to Florida or Texas or wherever, I was able to watch.
Yeah.
And you were ahead of every other of the kids' sports.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that had a lot to do with how you got more exposure and awareness internationally.
That's
because
right.
you were online and on ESPN.
It's exactly right. And the idea was to make it, available to as many people as we possibly could. And the content, one of the great things about cheerleading, it's very visual. It looks good on television.
Awesome.
And you can see all the different moves and everything that's happening. And so there's a big appetite for it. And so one of the things we've done, as you said, we'll stream the entire event. In addition, we may be doing 2 or 3 ESPN shows or specials as well, but we'll stream the entire event. And that way, grandparents, parents, friends can keep up with what's happening at the event. So it's helped us a lot. You're
They're
right.
really smart too. Well, as you get older, your eyes get worse, and there's uniformity in these teams. So they all have the same uniforms. They have the same makeup. They have the same hairstyle.
Yep.
Now, I'm blessed that my kids are a little bit darker, because that's the only way sometimes I'm off. Like I think I'm watching my daughter.
Yeah. Well, when you've got 30 people out there at once,
Exactly.
it's hard to see.
There's great uniformity.
That's right. Well, that's the idea, of course.
If you could list out 3 character traits that you're still, because I know you're purpose driven. I know it. You started with what I think is a wonderful. That's why it worked, because you started with one of the best things, which is connecting spirit. Right, keeping people in spirit means inspired. I believe that. You dream about what you want, it's a possibility, but if you become inspired, it's a probability. But then you also teach these people how to get out of their own way. To make a probability your reality or perspective, it takes action.
Yeah.
And your sport includes all of that. You have dreams, inspiration, and reality. What are the 3 character traits that you want your participants to walk away with?
Well, I think, what we really want them to do is think about how they can make a difference, for not only themselves, their family, but for their teammates. And when you're dealing with schools, cheerleaders in particular, how do they walk away going, I am here to help build a better experience, or to bring all of my fellow students in and be part of something great, all right? So that's the one thing. It's that participation and the connectivity. I think the other thing is just the importance, and it sounds a little bit corny, of just perseverance and hard work. I mean, these kids practice hard. They're involved in everything. And, as entrepreneurs, you can say what you want to about vision and strategy. At the end of the day, it's usually perseverance that makes the difference, right? But we think that. And then the other thing, frankly, is just kindness. It's like,
One of my favorites.
we tell the teams, we tell our employees at the end of the day, just be kind. Be kind to your teammates, be kind to your customers, be kind to everybody.
Self.
That's right.
Be kind to your future self is what I tell my girls, right?
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, last question as we run out of time. You're such a successful entrepreneur, and
Thank you.
I'm just so pleased to have you
Well, thank
here.
you.
I hope we become friends
Thank you.
afterwards, because
Thank you.
my head just spins about your business. But what really comes to mind when I think of you is I haven't met a more adaptable CEO, chairman, and founder. As you built this, you just seem so open to, and I really try to possess this myself. If you look at my career and reverse it back, I'm like, people ask me, how do you become the CEO of the biggest sports agency in the world? And if I told them, well, I went to law school and got into technology, then did this, and this, and ended up here. But you're the same kind of guy. And what do you think it is about your personality or your perspective that makes you so adaptable that you're not attached to some outcome?
I think one of the things may be that I'm just very curious, and I don't think that I have all the answers, so I've kind of always got my antenna up, and I'm able to see things or trends and say, how can that work for us? How can we make a difference with that? And try to bring it in. I mean, I tell people, I think that if you really talk to long-term career, successful entrepreneurs in private, they love vision, strategy, all the in private, one of the things is probably we're more opportunistic than visionary. We have a concept, we get it going, and as we're going along, usually it's not exactly the way we thought of it in the beginning. It evolves. But I think because you're open and you have your antenna up and you're trying to look for ways to make kind of your journey even better, that you bring those things in. And then it expands your world, right?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, they're like, how do you come up with so many good ideas? I go, I don't.
Right.
Right? I come up with an idea and then everybody else makes them
Exactly.
good. And it becomes a good idea.
Right.
And there's no overnight
Right.
ideas or successes that I've had.
And if you build that into your team, then they're constantly coming up with ideas because they realize that we're open to them and we'll take them. We're not going, this is my company, these are all my ideas, right? So yeah, to get all those different brains and ideas is, I think it's a key.
Well, I am so grateful. I know we'll talk afterwards about the refund.
I've been getting in your pocketbook. I hope it's been worth it.
So worth it. Honestly, in all sincerity, I am so pleased, as a father to have 3 daughters, and I had my son even later, but I couldn't have imagined a better way to raise them when the amount of time they spent with Varsity and understanding that all the different lessons they've learned, because school's so easy for them. Their friendships are so easy. And I really, really credit you for that. And there's millions of girls that do this, and I highly suggest that they do. So thank you.
Well, believe me, if the entire Varsity team out there was hearing what you said, it's music to our ears. It's what we try to do. So thank you.
Well, they will, because this is Entrepreneur, the Playbook.